All right, Louise, we can do anything we want here. No one's yelled out anything.
Sophisticated lady.
See, I knew some bitch would come in and bust our balls. Sophisticated.
All four of them.
That's one of the first songs I learned in it was in the 20s. Maybe 29, 1930, yeah. But Duke Ellington went out and bought the record. And there was a couple of guitar players I was confused about who to copy. It was Gene Autry. That was going to be a joke, but I see that it didn't go anywhere. I said, well, this is the audience I got to work to. And they think I'm serious about it. But Gene Autry, oddly enough, when I was a kid, I must have been about 8, 9 years old, and I had this guitar from Sears and Roebuck. I didn't have a famous guitar or anything. In those days, you were lucky if you got one from Sears, and I got it from Sears, and there was an EZ method that came with it. Just a big E and a big Z. And then you sit down and struggle where to put your fingers. You know, and that, for months I was getting softer every time I played a diminished. I thought diminished means to play it softer than the other notes. And when I hit the diminished, of course, that's when I got soft. You know, people says, boy, he's weird, but sometimes he plays loud, sometimes he plays soft. But that's the way it was written. So I went down to see Gene Autry in Waukesha, Wisconsin, and that son of a bitch was up there, and he's playing, I'll be down to get you in a taxi, honey, ba 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 ba. He played a D7. We're playing in C. See, I can't play a C anymore. That D7, man, I got goose pimples and everything. And I was sitting in the front row with my buddy Claude, and Claude was holding the flashlight, and I'd say, hit it, and then he'd put the flashlight on, and I'd put a dot where that finger was. See, and Gene's up there playing that thing, and after a couple of days, Gene Autry says, you know, there's something driving me crazy. Every time I hit a D7th, he says, a light goes on in the audience. And so Claude says, you're on the air, Les. He's talking about you. And so I listened to him, and he says, now look. And he hits that chord, I'm putting the dots down there. And then I realized he's talking about me. So he says, what goes on down there? And I says, Mr. Autry. I says, you've got that chord. And I says, it means so much to me. So he says, well, come on up here and I'll show it to you. And so that's how I got the third chord, the third change in Downtown Struggle Ball.
Right.
Okay, up till then I only used 2 chords. Very limited, right? And boy did I expand. My mother was so proud of me. And I got through 3rd grade. I just whizzed through 3rd grade. Playing the right chords. They're so glad to feel that I'm going to carry on, you know. And so now that I got 3 chord changes and everything, I started to raise my sights higher. And I went to Milwaukee with my brother with a Model T truck. He had a Model T Ford, Model T. That's the one where you sit on the gas tank. You get out of the car, take the seat off, take the cap, unscrew the cap, then you put a ruler in there, okay, a yardstick, and you put that son of a bitch in there and you pull it out and you say, I got 1.5 inches left. Of gas, okay? So, and my brother, by the time you drive that Ford for 4 or 5 miles, going to all the different tailor shops, picking up the goodies, because that's what he worked for, the cleaning and dyeing company. So he cleaned clothes. And so we drive that truck in there, and you'd park the car there, you know. He'd go in, pick the clothes up, and then you get in the car. You don't have to get out and crank the car. You pull the spark and gas down, and the motor would start all by itself. And we'd work our way all the way to Milwaukee. And I got in there, my brother went to get a beer, and I went in that store. And I says, what do you got in guitar players? And they said, we got a guy here called Eddie Lang and one called Nick Lucas. And I got both of them. And I got a Nick Lucas pick, and that's the pick you're using today. Everybody plays a Nick Lucas pick. They just don't know it. All the guitar players, they don't know that. They got that regular standard pick that's used by the whole world. Was designed by Nick Lucas. Okay? And it was a terrible thing to have to judge between Eddie Lang and Nick Lucas. And I dropped Gene Autry completely. I didn't need him anymore. Okay, now I went in and the guy was doing this. He was playing bells, chimes. I says, Mother, you won't believe it. This guy goes up and he's playing notes that aren't on the guitar. I didn't know they were there. I didn't know those chimes were there. Right? And I'm breaking out again with the hives and goose pimples because I got new things on the horizon. Okay, now I'm going to put those all into a song. Do you know what the song's going to be? Well, I don't, so I hope you do. It's Brazil.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. It's not sophisticated. Do you know sophisticated writing? Well, just play it for me then.
Yes.
What key are you in? You're in C. Oh, yeah, it was written in A flat. Yes, we have no bananas. You know what key that was in?
No.
You don't know it? Barney Google? Barney Google? You don't know that? It's almost sacrilegious. Huh? What are you doing up here? If you don't know those songs, you shouldn't be out and getting a job anywhere. Barney, yeah, you don't know that?
Yeah. What key's in it?
Barney Google's in C.
C.
Yeah. You damn near caught me. There's one that was in F. Well, there were several songs I knew in F, but that one had nothing to do with the Kinsey Report or the way life is today with Clinton and Monica and those things. This was an honest-to-God song called I found $1 million baby in a 5 and 10 cent store.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know that when I went in to get that music, there was a fellow playing the piano, Gene Austin, and he was singing My Blue Heaven. And that's where I met Gene Austin the very first time, only later to play for him on his records. And the people that I idolize, which is Bing Crosby, which is Rudy Valley, which is all those old-timers, I end up working with them. And little did I know when I went in that music store that I would end up meeting Gene Austin and end up playing on his record. And you know how many records, how many he sold in 2 years of My Blue Heaven? This is in 27, 28. He sold 11 million records.
Wow.
And it took 2 years to go to town and sell them in a music store. And he goes to the dime stores. That's how they promoted a record in the old days. I was sentimental tonight, my fucking fingers hurt, so I thought maybe it was a good idea to fill that time in by not playing it.